This meeting is being recorded.
So, Sarthak, I would appreciate if you could start with your introduction, and we'll go ahead in technical discussions.
Sure, Asif. So, I have a little over 9 years of experience working as a backend software engineer, building and designing scalable web services using Python, mostly in insurance and finance domains. At my current work at HCL America, I'm working for a Michigan insurance client. And here I design and build serverless Python-based services and APIs using uh, AWS Lambda and API Gateway. These services, they handle real-time and event-driven integrations with the underlying core systems of Guidewire insurance applications like Policy Center, Billing Center, etc. Apart from API integrations and developments, I also work in data validation, data correctness, and reconciliation. So, for example, I have worked and designed an S3 Amazon S3 backed data validation pipeline using AWS Glue and Athena, and other SQL advanced patterns like CTEs, window functions, etc. Before joining the client here in Michigan, I worked for another leading insurance client in New Jersey, known as New Jersey Manufacturers, from 2018 to 2021. There, my work was mostly on building inter-service communication using REST and Kafka, and I also worked on building the authentication and authorization functionality using JSON Web Tokens for the request response cycles. I also supported for a minor project like containerizing applications using Docker and Kubernetes. So overall, I would say my strong work has been mostly on building scalable backend architectures, improving on optimizing performance and backend data integrations using SQL, and building uh, APIs and microservices that scale well in a cloud native
Great, very
environment.
great, very great. So, Sarthak, I would like to understand where I think you're in Minneapolis, right?
Michigan, Lansing,
Michigan,
Michigan.
Michigan. Okay. So, and as long as I remember, you had mentioned to me that you did a master's from Charlotte, correct?
That is correct,
Okay.
yes.
So I hope relocation wouldn't be a problem since you are aware about the environment, you know the culture, environment, and everything. So anything, any hindrance that you see can stop you
No,
relocating to
absolutely
Charlotte.
no. No, I would be happy to relocate back to Charlotte because I have a lot of friends over there. So,
Oh, that's nice. Now tell me, what are the versions of Python you have been working in? What are the frameworks that you have been using?
sure. So, I worked in back in India also. I missed that part in my intro. So back in India also, I worked for 2 years for Tata Consultancy Services (TCS).
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So there, I used a lower version of Python, which was the latest at that point. This was 10 years back, and we used Python 2.6, and then we used the Django
Framework.
REST framework.
Okay.
And currently, we are using a more modern and latest fast-moving API framework for backend, which is known as Fast API. And using this API, it has a lot of improvements and performance improvements over the other frameworks. So I have
Mm-hmm.
on backend frameworks, I have worked on Django and Fast API, and I have very limited experience with any front end uh, frameworks like Angular and React, only a couple of years.
Okay. Okay, very nice. And what is driving you to change your employer right now? With the current employer, I think you're working with HCL, right? You're full time with
That
HCL.
is correct. I'm on W2 with HCL.
Okay.
So there are
Is
two
it a
things I
contracting or
see.
it is full time?
No, I'm full time with HCL. I've been
Okay.
working with HCL for more than 7 years now on full time.
Okay. So now, why would you leave HCL? Any specific reason?
So there are two things. My current project is going to end in a couple of months. So the application is currently very stable and things are very smooth. So the the application that we built, the support project, is also going to end. So that is one, and another is I have little immigration issues going on with my current employer, for which I need some immigration support from a new employer.
Can you be a little bit specific in terms of you said you are W2 with HCL, right? So what
That
kind
is
of
correct. Yes.
issues you are facing in terms of immigration?
So my current employer, so because of some latest policy changes, they have halted all green card processes midway.
Even H1B, they
So
must not be filing if you are full time with HCL. And how many
that is
attempts are
correct.
left? How many attempts are left?
So, I am currently on my last H1 term, and
Oh,
we recently got emails that for our
they
employment
will not
based,
be filing in
they
GDC.
will
No
not.
one in this TCS, Infosys, and all, they are not going to file because of the changes in the
So two
policy.
things. First is they are not going to file because there is an organization-wide hold on the green card
Correct,
process.
correct.
Second is we recently got emails that they will not be extending. Even if I had one extension left, they won't be extending the H1 going forward.
Okay. That is personally believe this is the main pain point area of everyone who is on CPT OPT, and
Mm-hmm.
I totally get it. I totally get it, and I will try my best. I will try to move this as quickly as possible, so that we can add you in the lottery. We have already started, and the due date is by first week of March. So just want to
Mm-hmm.
ensure that we get the offer till then, and we will start the H1B
Sure, sure.
filing. Okay.
Thank you.
So, in your current application, what kind of development you are doing? Like, what is the scope of the project? How Python and other skills are involved into your current project?
Oh,
Can you give
absolutely.
me a little bit more insight?
Absolutely. So, so to explain that, I need to tell you a little about how the underlying insurance framework works. So I'm at an insurance client, right? So we have a certain core insurance applications which handles policy systems, the billing systems. Like if there is an injured worker, how do you pay them? Then we have claims and so many different things, right? So these are our core backend applications that we have other proprietary vendors that we have got it from. Now, how the projects that I am working on building and developing, how they interact with these applications and how they bridge the gap between the other front end environment. For example, for leading insurance clients, right, we have a lot of agents that bring in business to
Mm-hmm.
our client. So they have their own agency portals. So they access our policy administration system using these portals, which we call as producer engage portals. Then we also have customer engage portals from where customers can log in and file a claim or do a change in their policy and certain things. So these are two different endpoints, right? So the serverless systems that we have built, me and my team, is which sits in between in the transport layer. So we have decided to go ahead with AWS Lambda because this is better to, we need to modularize this into a function.
Mm-hmm.
And so Lambda is nothing but a function as a service, right? So we used AWS API gateway to route this incoming traffic based on whichever portal or whichever application endpoint they want. And it lands into our development that we do in the AWS Lambda. So we write Python modules that sits on these AWS Lambda. So AWS Lambda is nothing but a serverless engine. So we do not handle the scaling, we do not handle the underhead operations that need to maintain the servers. So we just write our own functions, we deploy it into Lambda and integrate it with the front end API gateway. So whatever endpoints are hit from the front end portals, like I mentioned, they will land into our modules, Python modules or small applications. What we do in that application is we screen a lot of requests so that we reduce the overhead of the core application processing, like the guidewire policy center, billing center. So we do some, request filtering based on, do they match our model schema? Do they match with we use the Pydantic models. That's kind
Mm-hmm.
of a library in Python that we use to. Uh, rec- so when a request comes in, right, we need to see if the request is having so it matches with our contract which we
Mhm.
have.
I
For
got it.
example,
I
it should
got
have
it. I'm sorry to
headers,
interrupt
these
you in
things.
between, Sarthak, because I have a limited time on this
Oh,
WebEx.
sorry.
So I will, no need
So
to
yeah,
be sorry.
basically this
Yes,
is
I
where our application sits in, and if everything matches, if the request is good, it goes on to hit our underlying service. And
got
if
it.
there
Got it.
is some timeout or something, we also have implemented some retries with exponential backoffs and sort
Awesome.
of
Awesome.
those
So
functionality.
imagine if I talk about a real word Python questions. Imagine your API Python API is slow due to heavy database reads. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, what is the first step that you are going to take to optimize?
So in this case, we need to understand what kind of incoming request that comes in, and if it is something. So for example, each request comes with a correlation ID, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we get multiple similar requests with the same correlation ID, for example, I can only speak, so let me take an example of my insurance client, my day-to-day work. So if a request comes in with a correlation ID that wants to, let's say, update a policy or make
Mm-hmm.
a payment, and if another request comes in to for the same policy change or something like that, we do have two options, right? First, we need to check if all our integrations, the database integrations, are optimized. For example, are the SQL reads perfectly optimized? If there is no more optimization that is possible on the integration between the application and database, we can also implement some caching strategies. For example, we have different caching techniques, like we can use Redis or memcached. So we can store some most common used items, database elements, and store them in a local memory, which is known as a cache, right? So when a request comes and requests for those elements that are already in our cache, so we don't need to, send another inbound request to our database or IO bound request.
Okay. Okay. Very nice.
So in order to so put it in short, so a local caching is our first thing that we can do, along
Very
with
nice. That is what I wanted to
go.
hear actually.
Okay, okay.
You took little time. You
No,
tried to
I was
explain.
just going
No, no,
through the
you were
process of.
actually, yeah. You were going, you were actually on the right track. But yeah, Redis caching is what I wanted to hear. That's okay. Have you used decorators also?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So how does it work? How did you use decorators in your project?
So mostly we use in logging. For example, we have a lot of inbuilt Python decorators that we can invoke and get us, for example, a timer of, let's say we have a function module, and any time that function is invoked, we need to first pass it as an argument to another decorator function, where we can start a timer on it and put some logs into our logs for debugging and later audit purposes. So let's say we have a function abc, and when that is called, inbuilt in turn, a timer function is called, that is a decorator. And then there we have implemented, like, okay, put a start time when this function was called, what was the status after it was done, and put an end time and put it into a log, and then return back the function details. So basically what we achieve here is, we do put in a lot of details into our debugging logs. For example, if our system is slow, we can go over and investigate further on this. So that is just one aspect of how we are using decorators.
Okay. Okay. Very nice. How do you decide? Okay, suppose there is a scenario based questions, or maybe you need to write a coding based on the scenario. How will you choose to write the code using object oriented approach versus functional approach in Python? Any example you can explain with any example?
Okay, so let me understand the question clearly. So you are asking, let's say a scenario came in, and we need to decide, in order to develop this Python module, what
Mm-hmm.
approach should we take and how do
Correct.
we decide on,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so see, a functional approach is just basically, going ahead with a systematic programmatic flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
If, for example, we have a requirement where we need to have multiple similar objects, right? For example, multiple similar instances of a thing. If we go ahead with functional programming, the bottleneck here is we have to do a lot of code repeating here. But for example, if we go over object-oriented methodology, what we can do is we can instantiate, we can define a core class structure, and we can instantiate it multiple times, and we can have multiple copies with different data, but all conform to that same constant. So personally, most of the projects that I have worked on, we always preferred object-oriented programming for multiple reasons, like uh, the code crispiness, the reusability of code, and the object-based scenarios.
Okay, okay, got it. Uh, can you Sarthak share your screen quickly? I will just have two questions that you can write, and since it is being recorded,
Okay, let me try. Click share to share content. Let me know if you can see my screen. And
I will, yeah.
can you see my screen?
I cannot. Yeah, it is visible now.
Okay.
So the first question would be,
So can I use my ID?
of course.
Okay. Okay.
So this is the first question. I will in fact write all these questions. Okay, so choose any two questions that you want to solve.
Okay. So is it in the chat?
I am just texting it in the chat.
Okay.
Can you see it now? There are three
Okay.
problems. You pick any two, and you can solve any two.
Okay. So let me just copy everything so that I can put it in a better place where I can see better. You can still see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can still see it.
Okay. Yeah. So okay, let me start from the very beginning. So let's start with this next greater element in a circular array. So given a circular array of integers, written an array that is the rest of I is the next greater element of this. As you traverse the array to the right, wrapping around to the beginning. If no such element exists. Okay. So for example, 7 minus 1 to 6. For the last index, you continue from index 0.
There is a note or constants as well on the same question.
Yeah, I'm checking that. Next greater element. Okay, so it has to be the second greatest as you traverse the array to the right. Okay, we'll start from left, we'll traverse to the right, wrapping around to the beginning. If no such element set. So what happened here is we have 5, 7, 1, 2, 6. So we took wrapping around to the beginning. So we took 7 from the right and appended to the left. Create an array rest where rest of the is the next greater element of this as you traverse the array to the right. I'm not sure how this 7 got here, but anyways, let me move around to the next one. I'm having a little difficulty in understanding that question. Okay, given an encoded string, decode it. So we have output as ACC. So basically we have, okay, whatever is inside is getting multiplied by this, so ACC, and that is 3 times this. Okay, so let me just talk it out so that it will be better for my understanding. So if we traverse this and put it in a stack, um, okay, do this, take this, and whenever there is an end brace, we check the one before this and do this. For example, if we reach this, let me try the second one. Take this as an input. So what we are trying to do is uh, to string input, give out string output. Okay, and let me cover the boundary conditions first. So if this is none, what we will do is return none or empty string. Otherwise, let's say we take a stack. Okay, we take a stack. Now we will go ahead and traverse the input array and put everything in the stack until the first one comes in. We will check for, but we need to take care of the index as well. So let's say we do, so in order to have the index, okay, we can do this. This is a stack of parentheses, and we can take another stack of letters. Now for char in s, what we will do is if char dot is, I think it is alpha. That means if it is alphabet, what we will do is we will put it in the letter stack. So stack letters dot append, we will add the char. Okay, first also we need to have a result array. So result is an empty string. Okay, and if the stack of letters, okay, else elif char in, if it is in any of these, if so, quick question here.
Mm-hmm.
In the second question that I'm trying right now,
Mm-hmm.
does it mean it will only have, sorry, I don't know why this is like this. So does it mean it will only have the square brackets, uh, or can it have
I
any other? So
think I think that is they are going the logic is implemented by using the square bracket only.
okay, thanks for that. So what we will do is if it is an opening square bracket, we'll append it to the stack parent dot append char left. So if we have an closing one, what we need to do is we need to check if we have anything in the letters. So elif char, here we can do an e equals closing one. What we can do is we will check on okay, instead of is alpha, we need to check is alnum because we will have numeric as well. And if the character is equals a closing bracket, we need to check for the one. Okay, so uh, temp char equals to stack letters dot pop. So this will pop the last one. Then we will do a so we have so what will happen is we will take in this one, right? So for the first one, it goes into, if it is a alphanumeric, it goes into letters. So 3 goes into letters. Then uh, the opening parenthesis, it goes into parenthesis. A goes into letter. 2 goes into letter. Opening parenthesis. C goes into letter. Then the first closing, when it comes, we will have letters will have 3A to C. Then it will have 3A to C. We need to have C twice, right? So temporary character is, we will get C. Then temporary num is stack letters dot form, and we will convert into integer. What this will do is, and then we'll append it to result. So result equals result plus we will do a temp num into temp char. So this will do it for this, and we'll do a return. Let me just go through and cover the edge conditions here. So first we went with this. The first here we will have opening, and then when we have the first closing, we will take out C, put it in char. We will take out 2, put it in num. Then we'll do num is 2 into C, so that's CC. We'll append here, and okay, but we need to do a okay. So we need to start, but this will be in the reverse order. Okay, then we will have A, and in A we have nothing. So if we have a stack cat, now it's not there, right? So let me just do this. It will definitely have a different one, and we have to reverse it. Okay. So, so we got CC. When it comes to A, when it comes to the last vector, we will do a stack letters pop. Okay, it popped A. Then it popped a num, which is 3, which is not right. So we will have 3A, which is incorrect. So we are getting 3A CC. But instead we want A. Okay. What we can do here is, okay, we got that. Then if the okay, got it. So if we need to add an if condition here, if so we popped that it has C, and when we pop those letters, it is C and it has 2. When Then we can do a dot pop that will pop the opening bracket. And next is we have only one left. Then when we go to the next one, we have C is already popped out, 2 is already popped out, and we have A. This. But for A, we have C already in there, right? And temp care result. Okay. Instead, we will do temp result equals and we will do is result equals to temp result. So what it will do first, it will and then second goes in and it comes out. First one, okay. Temp care is C. Temp num is so we are doing a CC rather than temp care. Temp result CC plus res. Okay, and then we are on to the next one, which is the next. And we have popped the open one and two pops done. So C and 2 are done. So 3A and a open. The next one is that when that comes, we are taking out temporary cache. Okay, pop is the letter, so which is A. Now it's 3, that will be 3A. A, which is okay, but we have a carry to go. Okay, so here okay, we can have
Stack. I think your approach is correct, Sarthak. You are doing
I
good.
just need a
So
couple more
because
minutes.
this is something that a stack approach will help you to solve this. So you are going right. I mean, I just thought of
Yeah,
motivating because I just
yeah,
thought
just
you shouldn't be feeling stuck, but your approach is good.
no.
You're going in the right
Yeah.
direction.
So we'll have a temporary and we will do temporary is so when we have this for example, let's say we have okay, and the first outcomes we have popping 1 and we have popped out C and 2. C went into carry, 2 temp is equals to 2 times C, that is this. Okay, and then we are doing temp plus res. Okay, which is okay, and then what temp is null, so empty. Okay, that is good. CC. The next one it comes, so we have A. We will pop out this and okay, this will produce so for example, I'm expecting it to be 3 A's and 2 C, and then I can build on. Okay, 3A and 2C. Okay, that is what I expected. And now, in order to jumble the adding to the result array, so instead of doing that, So we need to add A to the result. Okay. So when we are popping a letter, we need to add it and
Sarthak,
then
the
multiply.
meeting will end in 2.5 minutes. Okay, you can join back on the same link. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, but you continue coding because I have only 40 minutes slot. I hope you would be able to do it. If you do it, I think we should be good. Otherwise, you can join back.
Sure. 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 So we don't need this part here. Let's say we do a result equals temp plus result. Okay. And so for any stack letter that we are popping, for example, C, then we are doing temp. Okay. So correct. So we are having CC, and then we are popping, and then we have a number. We have a number. Okay. Um, I think, yeah, I think we don't need two stacks here. A single stack should suffice, and that will help us be in the right. Okay. So what we can do is we will take a and then for char in s if char not equals to the closing one, we'll keep on appending. So stack dot append, we will add a character. Now what happens if we get a closing one? Else, let's say we get a closing one. Are you still there?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah. Yeah. So how will I know if it gets disconnected?
You can you can start speaking if you do not hear us.
Okay. Okay.
That
No, no.
is ended.
So this is there till 11 a.m., right? Or
Mhm.
you said 10:45?
9 foot 9.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
what did you
Yeah.
say?
I think so. This meeting that you have scheduled,
It
this goes
is
on for.
40 minutes. Okay, so it should end now, and
Okay.
it can end any time, but you join immediately back on this team on the same
So
link.
how
Okay.
do I join? So hold on. So is it the same?
One
I
second.
need to
One second. I will
find that link.
let me ping you the link again.
Yeah, I'll copy it and I'll join it.
I just did.
Okay. So can I join now directly so that it can extend
Ha ha ha. You can. Yeah.
better, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, just 1 second. 1 second. It is still going on. I'm not sure how is that going to work. The call is still
निकल
going on.
निकल गया सर वो
The meeting is being recorded.
ओके कैन वी रीजॉइन अगेन
I think you continue, Sarthak. You continue. Continue in the same. I'm sure it is.